And just on this same theme, what about the economic consequences of the pandemic? The incredible amount of spending in Australia and around the world to pay people to get through the pandemic, to pay for the over-the-top lockdowns and other restrictions. Well, those costs were always going to be inflationary. There was always going to be a reckoning. You can't borrow and spend wildly without consequences. Inflation was always the worry. So many government leaders and economists tried to say it wouldn't matter because everyone's doing it. But of course, inflation is the global economic challenge right now, and interest rates are being lifted to combat it. The chickens are coming home to roost. As ever, when they're trying to arrest inflation in this way, the worry is whether the crunch on the economy could be too hard. The head of the US Federal Reserve has conceded that interest rate increases could trigger a recession in the US.
Do you agree with the perspective that if interest rates go too high, too fast, it could drive us into a recession?
It's certainly a possibility. It's not our intended outcome at all, but it's certainly a possibility. And frankly, the events of the last few months around the world have made it more difficult for us to achieve what we want.
That's a sobering warning, isn't it? And of course, the risk of recession applies in Australia as well. And it also comes as governments in Australia, state and federal, continue to spend wildly. Canberra and the states need to wind their spending back, and quickly. We need to be wary of a wages prices spiral. We don't need to have a recession. And the new federal government's job is to make sure that we don't.